your hand. You reduce the cost of Gadgetzan Auctioneers and Ethereal Aug Merchants with Octobot. And then you Gadgetzan Auctioneer, coin, spell damage, Garrote, draw through your deck and kill your opponent. There are a lot of different pan-outs. Every game, there's usually a different pan-out for a kill. It's not like the same combo every time. You have to react to what you're being given and be hyper-efficient very quickly because you will have limited mana. The benefit of this matchup is you can kind of tell when you're about to die, right? Like you can just hold on to everything and wait till the last possible moment to go for the pop off, right? So that's the benefit that you do have. And this is a decent hand. The problem I see with Language Hacker's opening hand here is hand space, because there's a loan shark and the sketchy information and the Shroud of Concealment, which just those alone is 7 cards worth of cards in his hand. And on top of that, there's a Swindle, which I feel like just he'll never have room to cast that. Octobot's decent. That'll allow him to get more stuff out in a single turn. But Language Hacker really has to think about what this means. I wouldn't even be surprised if he just swindles right now. Just for the
get rid of it. Yep. Possible. And this is another thing you can do. You even have to think about this play, because by doing this play you don't get to hit them for 3 with the extortion. So even this, when you talk about general rules and how you play this deck, there just aren't any. You've got to wing it differently each and every time. And you were talking about the hand size. Maybe he'll have to actually use some coins to keep the hand size down, but every mana is so critical, he won't want to do that. 1 extra mana on the pop-off turn is usually the difference between getting it right or not.
And it's not really a deck where you can afford to burn anything, because there are so many pieces that are crucial to the combo, right? Whether it be a Garrote is like the biggest. If you burn a Garrote, you likely don't have the damage to get there. If you burn like a Shadow Step or an Ethereal Aug Merchant, sometimes that can be enough too, for you to kind of gas out.
Yeah, with only 1 Garrote left, you have to leave it till extremely late in the combo, which sounds great. You should do that anyway if you possibly can. But sometimes you just want to get one out there and then wait a turn and then go off the next turn knowing it's in the deck. That's not always the right way to do it, because you'll hit them before you've got the spell damage built up that way, and so you'll do less damage. But it's this constant juggling act, and I think it's actually one of the more rewarding decks to play. But it is the first time we've really seen somebody on camera, on stream, needing to win with it and playing it in a tournament. So I think we'll see more of this going forward. But for now, it's still a very specialized, difficult deck.
And this is where the problems arise. Full hand. We'll need to dump something. Very likely a coin. So let's look at the burns in the deck that would be big if he just holds. It'd be Garrote. Ethereal Aug Merchant is fine to burn at this point because he still has both Shadow Steps in his deck. Sinister Strike would be kind of bad, not terrible.
Burning a Shadow Step would actually be quite bad as well. That's a big part of the pop-off usually.
Yeah, because it allows you to play, get additional spell damage for 0 mana and also draws a card. So, he's going to get the Garrote off now. Okay.
So this is the other, because he's still got both of them, this is the other one I was talking about, where sometimes you don't want to do this because you do less damage with it, and he's resisting it to the last second, because if you draw a couple of these off the top, you've wasted so much damage, but he has got another one, so it doesn't have to go wrong, right? They can be at the bottom of the deck or in the middle of the deck after you have set up your spell damage. You should be okay, but you hate doing it because Hearthstone hates humans, and it will just make him draw bleeds now.
Language Hacker's reaction. Oh my god, that was so funny. All right. Brain Freeze is a really big draw because this is going to allow Language Hacker to go Octobot, Brain Freezes Octobot, then play a Loan Shark. That'll free up enough of his hand space. Oh, nope. He's going to go Swindle. Ah, okay, he wants to reduce the cost of the minions too.
We are seeing what you were talking about at the start about McBanterFace. We're ignoring McBanterFace. Nothing, not because we don't like the guy, he's great, but because he will get to nearly killing lnguagehackr, and then lnguagehackr will combo. And so it's all about what lnguagehackr does. McBanterFace just has to do what he can at his own pace here. It's just too difficult for the mage to really set the pace.
Initiating overdrive.
Yeah.
So that's why we're concentrating on one player and one player only. Plus, we've seen Mage for 3 years. It's boring. We want to see people garroting each other. It's much more fun.
Yep. It is fun.
Mage
lnguagehackr could go for coin loan shark here because he'll still have 4 coins. Because what he could do is coin the loan shark and then actually brain freeze the other loan shark in the middle of his combo to get 2 coins back for 2 mana, so it'll be paying back for itself. It's not necessary though because he still has hand space for each one. And the first Ethereal Aug Merchant or one of the Ethereal Aug Merchants you can afford to dump as well, assuming you have Shadow Steps. +3 spell damage is sometimes the maximum you can do. You can get more if you have multiple minions on board. Like let's say he draws second Octobot. On his pop-off turn, he can Octobot Ethereal Aug Merchant the first one, and then start Ethereal Aug Merchant the Gadgetzan Auctioneer and get like +4 spell damage. +5 is very rare.
Is he not playing a Blood Mage? He's not, right? I don't see a Blood Mage in the list.
Did I say Blood Mage?
No, you didn't. I'm just thinking like I was going to say, no, TJ, you're wrong. You've got a Blood Mage. You can do
no,
spell damage with
Blood Mage.
He's not playing.
You don't want Blood Mage because that messes up your sketchy information. You want to be able to guarantee that sketchy information hits Loan Shark.
Yeah, I always prefer
the coins are the most important part.
The clean versions. There was a Blood Mage in originally in some of the older versions. It's why I don't think the Soul Rend will survive in the D6 deck for long, because it just messes you up too often, even though it's a nice solution to some of the problems. Right, well, McBanterFace took advantage of the fact there was a minion and actually advanced the quest significantly here, while he could.
Yep, and now we'll also have Imprisoned Phoenix emerging on his pop-off turn post-Arcanist Dawngrasp. So lnguagehackr is on the clock here. He has one more turn to set up, right? This turn he's going to set up into Arcanist Dawngrasp. And he also has to try and go for like an insurance policy, right? To ensure that his loan sharks will be able to be killed. It seems like he has a way to do it himself. Like, let's say Flurry comes down. He wants to be able to make sure that he can cash in on the coins. He has a Brain Freeze in hand, so he can cash in on at least one of the loan sharks' coins. The worst situation would be if he plays both of these loan sharks and then gets devolving missiles. I don't think he wants to risk that, because then he just wouldn't have that great of a pop-off turn. So I think that no matter what he does here, he's either killing off one of his loan sharks or only playing one loan shark.
Playing a loan shark and not playing the other one.
Yeah.
Because that's a pun. It's play on words.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I like.
You get it because there's a
policy.
Yeah, cool. Right.
I got it, Neil. I got it.
Are you sure though? Because there's like only one, so it's loan, and loan.
Yep, it's a loan shark.
See, you can get it in the end.
You need one of those. What do they call that? Is there a name for it? Those little drum sets that they use, the punchline drums.
I know which ones you mean.
Is there like a specific term for it?
There must be a Badum Ching version that actually means something, right? Somebody tell us what I need, so that I can tell TJ when I've said something that I think's funny.
It's a sting. It's called a sting.
Ah.
Or if you want to be exact, a percussion sting. There you go. Yeah, you need a drum set so you can do a sting every time you make a terrible pun. We've been focusing a lot on lnguagehackr's perspective here, but one of the issues that McBanterFace is going to run into is no Enchantress flow, right? Arcanist Dawngrasp is going to come down next turn, but McBanterFace only has a limited amount of mana to work with even on the following turn. And there's Cloak of Shadows that he would have to deal with at the very least, right? lnguagehackr could buy himself from a turn. Okay, here's a pop-off turn. So he can get the spell damage, And then he can play his Loan Shark, Brain Freeze his own Loan Shark. That'll draw him 1 spell, get 2 more coins in for 2 more card draw. He goes for the spell damage immediately, knowing that he already has one of the Groats in the deck. Shadow Step's a great draw at the beginning of the sequence because that adds more spell damage immediately.
Yeah, you have to be careful to spell damage things that are going to survive and hang around. Yep. That's a very easy mistake to make.
Which is the Auctioneer. Now the cards that he needs to hit are Preps, Second Groat, and Sinister Strike. He already has Sinister Strike. I mean, he's got so much additional draw left. He's still going to have 3 mana because he's going to Brain Freeze this and be able to coin again. So he'll have 5. Needs to find the Preps. And he's reacting as he's going, which is the big thing, right? He's still not finding Groats, still not finding Preps. We're a little bit behind, so it's possible that he will have found them. But at the very last second, if he realizes that he's actually not going to get there, he needs to bail out and play Cloak of Shadows. All right, he's committed.
And he doesn't know. You sometimes don't know. You know you've drawn 3 more cards and you know that you've probably won. Sometimes you actually have to wait and see if you hit one and it's not the bottom card or whatever. I think he did, but we have to wait and see. Yeah, he's got a million cards now. Surely.
Extortion, he traded it, found Sinister Strike. I think he's going to be at 2. Yep, he's at 2. All right. How much damage is this? That Ruined Orb can deal 8? That's plus 3 spell damage, plus 3, that's plus 6 spell damage. So the Fireball's 12 plus 8, he's 2 off?
Wow. So he's seen that because you saw his reaction that says, oops, I'm 2 off, and now he'll spend the rest of the turn making sure there's no way to fiddle this. Well, he can Ruined Orb and get more damage.
Ruined Orb into Ignite is lethal.
Or Hot Streak. Does Hot Streak get there?
He can trade now. He could trade now. And find Ignite? Brain Freeze. It's not enough. He's very close. Very close.
Can he put it so that Hacker draws with some sort of fatigue? No, there's no situation, right?
No, he's guaranteed dead. There's no world where your opponent doesn't have Cloak of Shadows, a Bleed, a Sinister Strike, any type of card draw, a Secret Passage. He is guaranteed dead. And, you know, we'll get the cards off the end. But that was very, very, very close. And I'm almost certain that lnguagehackr did that turn like nearly flawlessly, right? I think he optimized it perfectly. He got spell damage out as soon as he could get spell damage out. He waited till the last possible moment to cash in the 2 extra coins from his Loan Shark. There's one thing that I need to look though. If he actually just, oh no, he does play Preps. That's crazy. His Preps were like, unless we just missed it in the.
I didn't see one. I was watching while you were going at it, so I just left you to it. But yeah, I didn't see a prep get used.
He just didn't hit Preps. It was in his last 3 cards, I think. He got down to 3 actual cards, and he had 4 bleeds in the deck at the very end. Kind of insane. But other than that, I think that was nearly flawless as far as a Garrett Rogue turn. And you could even argue that he could have waited 1 more turn, right? Like, how often is it that he dies there? He could have, like, dug for Cloak of Shadows instead. But like his recognition, he went right away, sequenced it properly. His insurance the previous turn with only playing 1 Loan Shark in the case of Devolving Missiles, curating his hand so he had exact room for the additional coins. Nicely done.
Yeah, Hacker is one of the best prepared Grandmasters that we have, I think, every week. He play tests on stream quite often, but he does it extensively, he does it logically, and unless he ends up with a silly priest deck, which got banned, so it's obviously the right call, by the way, he is always ready. And the execution this time around is looking very good. Like, don't just mean this one game, I mean all season. And last season, I think we both agree that last season he got pretty unlucky a lot of the time. I know the sample size was quite big, but it did feel like he was relentlessly unlucky. Maybe that's just the way he claps, I don't know.
Yeah. And honestly, that last game, he had a great opening hand, but his pan out on his pop-off turn was weird.
Yeah.
usually when you have that good of an opening hand, your pop-off turn just feels so smooth. It's just so juicy. But that one wasn't. Preps killed his juice vibe. And sometimes that happens.
Yeah, I hate it when preps kill my vibe.
Yeah.
Totally different game this time around, of course. The Hunter are a massive favourite. This is the problem with the Rogue on ladder in particular. If you don't run into the right matchups, you're in trouble. Last Hero, different story. You can get the matchup you want. He got the matchup he wanted. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him just put the Shark out there, although he'll resist it if he can.
Yeah. Another minion for Imprisoned Felmaw to have to get through, contest the board. And Face Hunter, I mean, they usually kill like what on 6 or 7, given like a pretty closely contested game. Usually like aim shot, quick shot, hero power is like their finishing damage, and that's 7 mana for 10 damage. Gororo can do that as well. They can kill on 6. It's a little bit more rare, but again, if Language Hacker is able to assemble the combo, which, I mean, at this point, he's kind of just a Gadgetzan Auctioneer away from doing that, then he could go for a Hail Mary as early as turn 6 if needed.
Just a reminder, it is a bit harder, of course, because he has had to play the Octobot already, he's had to play the Shark already. There's concessions already being made to the fact he's playing against Hunter, but they're not terrible concessions, right? He's still all right in terms of hanging in there, especially as McBanterFace, depending where this 5 damage goes next turn, has had a mediocre start, to say the least.
Yeah.
Or rather, Hacker's had a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, Hackers, yeah, I think the Octobot maybe is a concession, but getting Lone Shark out early is fantastic because it's you know, as Sato would put it, it's just another spider tank that's in the metagame. And it can test boards pretty well, especially in this type of matchup where the only worry that you have is getting aggro down. Now Language Hacker has to think what is his line of play. I don't think it's worth a Shadow Step on the Octobot, just because it's another target for Imprisoned Felmaw to hit that isn't his face. But getting Gadgetzan Auctioneer reduced is pretty important, and he has a way to reduce it in hand, but it would also cost him a Brain Freeze, which is a good defensive tool, so I'm guessing that's what he was thinking about.
Cross fingers for McBanterFace. Where's it going to go?
Yes! Oh, yes! The
Well, it missed the shot.
Yeah, well, Piercing Shot is, that's 5 damage.
Gives up 2 coins. What did it cost? Hacker hasn't got a cloak. That's something that's a bit of a problem for him right now.
Yeah, but, I mean, he's at 23. He's sketching information and then Brain Freeze. Be at a full hand. And Hacker has... At this point, Hacker has the means to go for a combo at any time past 6.
I love it. It's an auctioneer and a bunch of coins, and he can go for the combo. No garots, no anything, just coins. That's all you need.
Coins are great. I love coins.
I like coins.
And I would think about even Secret Passaging here, because with this hand, you don't want anything that's going to draw cards, and just Secret Passage and hold. Just dump the card from your hand. I think his reason behind not playing it here is just because if he needs to find answers next turn, because he doesn't really, his hand doesn't have answers, then he could go with that and just keep his same hand on the other side as long as he's not drawing cards.
What a load of garbage. I mean, it's not garbage, but it's bad fit, more to the point of what he's trying to do.
Quick
shot?
maybe?
Yeah, and use it next turn.
Yeah, he can't dump his hand this turn. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think you still have to do it, though, unless you think... Because the Wrangler doesn't do anything, right? Because the Rhino's never going to be quick enough.
Yeah, the other argument is aim shot, just because it's the most efficient damage. Just straight up most damage, but I think he needs a little bit more resources.
I mean, he's just got a bunch of 1/1s, really, at the moment. It's not good.
Yeah.
Hacker has spent too long considering whether he's going to go off, so probably is not.
Oh no! if you have to coin your auctioneer, just stop there.
Really? Is that like the instant like red light?
Yeah, if it's not reduced and you gotta, it's no. There's no reason for him to do it. There's absolutely no reason for him to do it until he feels like he's gonna die the next turn. Oh, this is
way off. Yeah.
This is a great pickup, honestly. He can SI7 extortion if he really wants. He could set up Octobot, but I don't think he wants to leave it exposed. I think he wants to get value off of it.
Same as last game, leaves himself with 9 cards so he doesn't burn anything, because most of his deck he doesn't want to burn right now. And he's still not taking that much damage.
Yeah, I still don't think there's a combination of cards on 7 mana that kills him like from 14. Okay.
Oh, he's going.
He's going. Whatever. I probably wouldn't have gone here. I would have waited one more turn, but we'll see.
I understand it. I think you're right. I think you should have waited a turn, but I understand it. It's like, I think I've got this, so let's just do it while I feel... If you feel good, go for it.
Initiating overdrive.
I mean, this is unlucky if this fails. There's so much.
You're paying for my discretion.
Oh, I mean, he's not going to kill him. I don't think. I think it's hard to kill from this point. He didn't have enough oomph.
Interesting.
He hasn't found a prep. He hasn't casted a Garrote yet.
Yeah, not finding a prep in your bottom 6 cards again. Second game running. He's absolutely safe though.
You're paying for my discretion.
Actually, he hasn't found the second auctioneer. Which in weird, wacky world could be an issue.
He probably still wins from this point, just because McBanterFace has no cards.
In a card game.
Cold Neophyte is interesting, but he's blocking it for a turn, and I think he needs more than a turn. I don't know. He knows that there's still 2 Cloak of Shadows.
That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Hacker can just go cloak, cloak, most likely, or secret passage, cloak, and then just take his time till he gets the auctioneer, then play the Garrotes and just cast his cards, and McBanterFace will explode.
Well, honestly, a spell damage is sticking, so each of these Garrotes will deal 3. That's 6. And then if he secret passages, he's very likely to hit a bunch of Bloods. If he hits 4 Bloods off the secret passage, he can just hard cast them all, and that's another 12. Honestly, if only one minion survives here, or if both minions survive here, he has a spell damage and 3 damage on board, so he actually only needs to find 3 Bloods off of secret passage.
Just hard cast them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just hard cast the Garrotes and then secret passage, because then he'd have 11 cards in his deck, or no, even more than that. Be 13 cards in his deck.
Is there any reason not to
Bloods.
end this turn with a cloak? There's no reason to not end this turn with a cloak, right? And just be nearer winning.
I'm gonna go for the flashy play. I'm telling you.
Oh, now it's absolutely safe. Now you want to be flashy.
You're paying for my discretion.
Now it's not your rank at stake. Yeah.
Yep. Now you just go. Oh no! Is he going for it? There's no combination of cards on 8 mana that can kill you from 11, right? Both quick shots are gone. He doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to cloak.
But he could have.
Too soon.
See, he thinks he might lose, so he should have cloaked. Right?
No.
What's up with him? Why is he angry?
He was looking for bleed, prep, bleed. Wait, I don't know what he was looking for, because you can't. Can you even prep bleed?
I've never tried it. I've got to admit, I've never played the secret passage version.
I don't think it's a
The old
spell.
version.
Is it a spell?
Yeah, because it draws when cast, right? You draw a card when cast is part of the...
Cast when drawn. Yeah, it is a spell. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
looking for bleed, prep, bleed. How much damage is this? Because he has a loaded hero power. Oh, is he like one
Not
off?
enough. It's 3 plus 6, so 9.
Oh!
Oh my!
Your actions speak well for you.
Well played.
Oh
Well fought.
my!
Real close, though. Real close. Ooh. Did he forget to put preps in his deck?
Apparently not. He says no.
Yeah, so he was... How many cards were left? There was...
6 when I last looked, so 5.
Wait, what? No, before the secret passage.
I think there were 6 at the start of the turn, but then he put all the garots in, so it made it bigger, right?
There was 5 at the after he drew his card for the turn. So he shuffled in bleeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shuffled in 6 bloods, and then so that would be 11, right? Mm-hmm. And then he had 2 preps. So it's not like the craziest thing in the world to expect that you wouldn't have hit. He would have needed to hit 2 bleeds and a prep out of his 4 cards. It's not that crazy. I don't know. Whatever. Still, good game from LnguageHackr.
Yeah,
Again,
I mean, he is a
he did his combo the
perfectionist.
best he could with the resources he was given, right? No preps. Not able to even cast the Groats at any point in the sequence. I said he maybe could have waited a turn, but then at the same time, like, at that point, he by popping off, he likely sets up for, even if he doesn't win that turn, for a very close to guaranteed win condition the next turn. Obviously, it took some weird draws for him to even be in a situation where he would need 3 turns. So, but I think this is another decent matchup for LnguageHackr.
I'm not so sure. These things hit you hard and fast, and you can't really stop them apart from your cloaks.
Yes, but again, you know exactly when they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
They don't kill you out of the blue, right? You can count exactly how much damage is possible. There is no secret damage in this deck. They stick a minion on board, you just double up their attack and count that as damage. And sometimes you also have to worry about a quest completion. But everything is face up, right? They're never going to deal damage that you don't expect. So you can, again, wait until the last possible second. If you're not finding your combo pieces, you can keep waiting until you know that there's a possibility that you're going to die.
And then you maximize your chances by extrapolation. You maximize your chance of getting it as right as you possibly can, assuming you play correctly and all that. So yeah, that must add quite a lot of win percent, actually. Just the information that you don't go off at the wrong time, you always go off at the right time. That's a really good point. McBanterFace planning his giant.
So you tap Tour Guide this turn. Giant goes down to 7.
And
And next
coin.
turn you tap for free.
Yes.
Giant goes down to 5, and then you coin Giant.
So many possibilities.
I had to check for a minute then. But you can't coin giant. No, different giant, Neil. Different giant. You can coin giants. But there might be something to play with the tour guide tap as well. That might work, but I don't think it gets you there quicker.
No.
Because there's a drain life as well, being a card he could have just spent mana on recklessly if he played the tour guide here and then tapped.
Yeah. So now the free tap on the next turn will bring the Giant down to 6, and then the first quest line completion will heal him up and bring the Flesh Giant down to 5, so he can get it out on 4. In the past, you would have been able to just play this Flesh Giant on 4 without having to coin. Imagine that.
Many options.
That sounds good. Or you just draw a raised egg and use it like a coin. About that.
Yeah, sure.
3 coins in your deck.
One of the other parts of this matchup is that, I mean, usually you don't have to deal 30 damage, especially if you're just smacking with a loan shark.
That's a good point, actually. I don't usually put much store in reads on players, but I think Hacker will be expecting this giant. I think we'll see the nod here because of how long McBanterFace spent last turn. There was like calculation, player tour guide. That smells of giants to me. B5 faux thumb, I smell giants. That's how it works, right? Jack, sniffing out the giant and the magic beans. Pretty sure I know that story.
So many possibilities.
Jack the beanstalk climber face.
Yeah. The one where the giant climbs down the beanstalk and forces the beans into Jack's hands because Jack's found him.
Almost out of time.
But dumps. Ooh, little
Cushions.
little deviation here from McBanterFace. Doesn't want to take 3 more damage from this loan shark. Still missing an auctioneer and no way to get it. This is a problem.
It's a big problem.
Yep. Got plenty of coins. Got double Ethereal Aug Merchant and Shadow Step. Got a Garrett.
I wonder.
Just missing the card that pieces it all together into one cohesive damage-dealing unit.
Nothing a swindle wouldn't solve. He's got a lot of ways to get it, but they're just not in his hand. Particularly.
Yeah. The fact that he drew the first loan shark naturally and the second loan shark from the concealment, or Shroud of Concealment. Oh, nice, nice. Is pretty unfortunate because now both sketchy informations are dead. 3-mana card that's just not doing anything.
Did you just turn it on as I turned it off? Because that's great.
I didn't. I think you broke it.
I think I've broken it. There we go. That would teach me, don't let people of my age touch technology. It never ends well. That wasn't me.
Looking for bleed.
It's a fairly sinister card, actually.
More bones to gnaw on.
Yeah. All right. Here comes all the stuff setting up lethal damage.
Certainly does. Language Hacker's got Cloak of Shadows to buy some time. At this point, probably needs to also get this second loan shark on the board.
Oh, he can use touch to get rid of the 1/1 and still have a Battle Master. That's why he's put it in the middle. So he gets 2 attacks with that, then kills it, and then gets 2 attacks with the other 2 things as well. So it's maximizing damage. I doubt it's particularly relevant in this matchup. Like, they're not going to heal, but still do it right anyway. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I wonder.
So Language Hacker could Secret Passage and try and find a way to tutor an Auctioneer. However, he's at a full hand right now, so he's going to dump a coin before he Secret Passages, so if he does hit some type of draw effect, that he's not going to also fill up his hand on the other side and potentially burn, bleed, garrote, etc.
Sorry, this is like the worst hand he could ever have got here.
Sketchy Information's completely dead, does literally nothing. He can cast it, though. I think it's important to cast it, because even though it'll do nothing, he doesn't want to draw it from his deck because it's a dead draw at this point. And there's no point in playing the bleeds because they only deal 2 damage now. You want those back in your deck and dealing like 4, 5, potentially even 6 damage. But it is a pretty unfortunate pan out. Realizing that that doesn't really matter.
He hasn't drawn a prep in any of the games.
He's still got time, though. He's not dead yet. He's got a Cloak of Shadows to buy 1 whole turn.
Yes. I was just checking he doesn't go down too low, but yes, he will be fine.
McBanterFace probably doesn't want to play actually could play Battlemaster now. Because there's not that many ways to kill it. There's one Brain Freeze left, there's one Extortion left. But those would be the only 2 ways. Yeah, you could just play the Battlemaster now.
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah.
Mainly because when you start going through the other options, you end up going, oh, I need to tap. And then if you need to tap, yuck. Let's just play this and do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I don't think his stuff is dying. Because there's just no way for lnguagehackr to kill it. He's got 1 Brain Freeze left, and if you're dealing 12 points of damage, you don't really need that much stuff to stick. lnguagehackr only has the option, really, to kill 1 thing, if that. And if he only kills 1 thing, no matter which thing it is, he'll still have lethal.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage.
Yep. That is a Shadow Step, which is... Oh, no, it's a prep! It's a prep!
Okay.
Control prep! So he's got a cloak.
His deck.
Yep.
Now we know.
So he's going to think what he can do with the rest of his mana here.
Options.
Yeah, right.
I actually wouldn't hate... This is going to sound weird. I wouldn't hate Octobot, Aug Merchant. Oh, no, you can't do that. Never mind. I'm trying to find a way to get the Loan Shark down as well. He can just play it, right?
Why can't you spend 3 mana on it? Just
yeah, no,
put it on the
you
board.
can. Yeah. First, I thought he was at 10 cards for a second. And then he doesn't want to overdraw the Auctioneer next turn. So yeah, just Loan Shark and then play the Cloak. And then has 7 cards. So even with the 2 coins going back in his hand, he'll still have a draw. But it's going to be on his next draw. He's going to need second Cloak of Shadows or exactly Gadgetzan Auctioneer. Because I don't think he would even have the mana to prep out like Shroud of Concealment at this point. Because then that would be his prep gone.
He might be able to get it done possibly with Swindle. Prep, Swindle, Auctioneer, coins, shut your eyes and hope. Get a couple of coins from the Shark.
I think the best draw would just be Cloak into Auctioneer.
Yes.
That way he has a little bit more wiggle room.
Yes.
But he needs something that he needs either exactly Cloak of Shadows or exactly Auctioneer, I'm going to say. I think that if he has to prep anything at the beginning of the turn, he may not get there, but it's possible.
I would imagine he wouldn't get there, but at least we'll get to sort of have the excitement of watching him try.
Haven't heard of me?
Ooh. Okay.
Right. Well,
He knows that he wins.
knows what's up.
He knows that he wins unless it's exactly like Cloak or Auctioneer. And what is that? Well, that's a dead card. That is a sketchy information. And lnguagehackr is a whole lot of dead.
Yeah, that's a pretty sketchy hand all around.
He can play his whole hand.
Rogue players do that every time, TJ. It annoys me so much.
What? Play their whole hand? He can play his whole hand and have
14.
extra mana.
Oh, they've always done it. Hacker, not being a rogue player, he's just playing it today. Didn't, but rogue players, they just love to show you their shadow steps and preps and coins. They've always liked it. Why? I don't want to see them. Put them away. Unsolicited 5 coins in my face. Don't want it. Anyway, 2-1 to McBanterFace, and now we're going to get to see the rest of Hacker's lineup in action. He has the Shaman, I believe. He doesn't have the Priest because it's banned, and he has something else because that's how 4 works. He has the 6 Demon Warlock, which he's 2 and 5 with this season.
Oh, yikes. He's going to play it. So, this is an interesting matchup.
Go on.
You got to be really confident in your pop-off turns, especially if there's a big minion on board. Because if you leave a big minion on board and you're not confident in your pop-off turn, you die.
Yes.
One, you can take a little bit more of a metered approach here, and like do your pop off over 2 turns and try and kill the stuff in the middle of it. But Language Hacker hits free admission in the opening, and a backfire. He's cooking. Backfire not that important of a piece. Usually backfire is better when combined with the rod. But backfire does allow you to begin your pop off turn in circumstances where you don't hit Hand of Gul'dan. Like if you get a reduced cost Dark Glare, reduced cost Stealer, you can do that plus backfire to kick off your turn.
Just want to say on top of that stat that he is 2-5 with this. When we saw him playing it, it didn't look like it was necessarily his fault that was happening. With some players, it definitely is their fault. If it's me and I'm 2-5, it's definitely my fault. I probably got coached for the 2.
Wait,
we did see him playing pretty.
Why is it not Language Hacker's fault when he goes 2-5, but it's your fault when you go 2-5?
Because he ran into matchups that were beating him, whereas I just play badly.
Okay.
Okay. He's also rubbish. Cool, that's fair.
However, does anything really beat D6 Warlock? Checkmate.
Good point.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing beat it, it would be banned, right?
Doomhammer Shaman beats it.
I wonder.
Eggowaffle tried to preemptively counter those decks by putting in a Rustrot Viper in his D6 Warlock, which, good try, buddy, but I think that's a terrible idea. Because you don't play that many minions, and all it takes is drawing it once with free admission in order for you to be very sad.
Who was it that put it in the Hunter deck? Was it you?
You were just a burden.
Yeah, I put it in the Chinese hand buff hunter and then kept drawing it from Scavenger's Ingenuity and hated myself because of it. I only did that once, actually, and then took it out of the deck. I thought I was genius at first.
This is the guy who won't play Blood Mage Thalnos in Rogue, but yep, let's play that Viper in my deck with 2 Rhinos. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
It made me happy because I was struggling and it was great. But he's filled his hand up with good stuff here. So, McBanterFace doing absolutely nothing. He hasn't got any of the big stuff. Very few reductions. He's a long way from getting anything done here.
He can raise dead a null and then play both nulls. Right? Or he's only had 1 minion die.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's only had the 1 minion die. So it's probably better to just play this null. Because if he raised that and only gets back 1 null, then he can still, he's trading a card for a card. He wouldn't have been able to play both nulls in any situation because he would be spending a card to get back 2, and then he'd play 1 for 2, but the second one would, or he'd play 1 for 1 and the second one cost 2. Something like that. Whatever. He couldn't play both. That's the point.
Yeah, the second one would be null and void.
Null and void. Ha! But got you.
Percussion sting, that's called, TJ. A percussion sting.
Ah, nice. Today I learned.
Yeah? I know all these.
All right.
So, Hacker plotting his way through the next few turns here.
Yes.
Got time.
Yeah. So there's a couple options here. Could just go Demonic Assault plus Mortal Coil. But there is some merit to actually completing portions of the quest prior to the pop-off turn, just because it reduces the total amount of animations that you would need to sit through. It also makes the math easier to how much damage you need to do to efficiently complete it. You would have drawn the same amount of cards, except one uses a free life tap to draw a card. The other would actually be just cycling a Mortal Coil out of your hand. Mortal Coil is cheaper as well, so sometimes if you absolutely need to continue drawing cards with Stealer of Souls to continue your combo, just having access to a Mortal Coil to get 1 more card that costs health is important, instead of having to spend 2 for a life tap.
The McBanterFace this turn really struggling because there's so little of, purpose that he can do. So just having to draw through and decide to do something next turn instead.
Oh, jeez.
Almost out of time.
He could raise dead and get back another tour guide and a null, or 2 nulls potentially. Double null! He can only play 2.
That's better than last time. We could only play 1, so he's getting there. And damage is important, right? If he can put 20 damage into Language Hacker next turn, then that severely hampers Language Hacker's ability to go off.
Yep. No pop-off available just yet. Language Hacker looking at his quest.
What is taking
Could
so long?
go with the old demonic assault, his own face. That was a fun one.
Somebody actually demonic assaulted one of my minions the other day, and I was like, I didn't know that. I thought it only went to my own face. I thought the card was do 4 damage, create 2 1/3s. I didn't actually think that, but that's like, I was surprised when one of my minions got hit with it, because I've only seen it go face. Like, into the user's face. Such a bizarre card, such a bizarre deck.
Okay. Big fan of this. This little line here from the Hackman. Now Backfire will complete the second portion of the quest by itself. Hackman Backfire. There's just nothing. It's just. All right.
Yeah.
You backfire anyway.
Gubbins.
You just backfire anyway. You take the burned card.
My hand
That worked.
Yep.
At least he gets a minion.
Yep. What's the draw? All right, there it is. Hand of Gul'dan. Nightshade Matron.
It's a burden.
It's time to let's rock and roll. Oh, hits the Dark Glare right off the top as well.
That makes it easy because he gets to get to 5 mana a lot of the time, right? Is that the main reason the God of Dark Glare is good here? He gets to 5 mana, he can play the Tamsin and just continue if he gets the card draw relevant to that.
Yeah, he's also going to gain enough mana to, if he's desperate and needs card draw, he can backfire. The problem here is going to be... actually, no, there's not going to be a problem. He'll have plenty of mana. He's got both Dark Glares on board, so backfire will only cost 1 mana. Actually has a Stealer of Souls left in the deck as well. Assuming he can get every card off. He also has another... Oh, no, he doesn't have another Hand of Gul'dan in deck, but he does have another Backfire, I believe. Yeah, he still has another Backfire in the deck. So he gets
On time.
off.
It should be fine.
The mission. Wait.
Wait.
I think he needed...
Right. We'll see what happens. By playing the Tamsin meant he didn't get the mana to get the backfire, right?
Yeah.
He assembled quite a good board, but...
Yeah. I think he's supposed to backfire first.
Yes.
Because that was very likely to hit the second backfire. So you backfire first, and then it only costs 1 mana, and then he would have needed to play only 1 card that costs health to go back up to 5 mana to play Tamsin, but he'd have 2 extra cards in his hand that actually cost health, and one of them could have been the second backfire, and that would have probably been lethal. Now, granted, he very likely wins from this situation regardless. In fact, it's hard for me to even think of a situation where McBanterFace wins, just because, there's a backfire. It doesn't cost health, but every card that he draws off this will cost health, and he's quickly approaching fatigue. In fact, I think that's just lethal right now. There's 3 more cards, and then that's 3 more damage. Yeah, that's lethal.
I'm almost
And Luchaka putting on a bit of a show of combo decks in general here today. With the Rogue being the primary one, though. Nice to see that. We haven't seen much of it. And then getting it all done with the D6 at the end for the 3-1 victory. He nods, he's satisfied with his performance, which, that's rare. Like, we quite often think he's played well, but for him to actually be satisfied, and a thumbs up, not even a clap. Who is this man? Is he the weekly winner?
So I liked the play there at the end, or near the end. I do think it could have been optimized. I will say, I think that he did have a lot of lethal potential on his pop-off turn, especially since he had already completed 2 portions of the quest. I think he had plenty of time with a different sequence, but with that setup that he had, you almost never lose, right? It's just, you know, one. How do you say it? 6 in one, half dozen in the other.
6
Is that
of
the
one.
expression?
Oh, I see. Here we go. Yeah. 6 of one.
Yeah.
Dozen the other.
Yeah, 6 in one, half dozen in the other. They're the same exact thing, just said a different way. They're both guaranteed victories. It's just one is a little cooler, right? But yeah, Language Hacker showing off some combo style. 2 wins with Garrett Rogue, and 1 win with the D6 Rogue.
D6 Rogue. Whew.
Yeah, D6 Rogue. Yep, D6 Warlock. Sorry, Neil. Jeez.
I mean, yeah.
People have to be perfect nowadays to cast with you? Is that what's going on?
Absolutely. Language Hacker misses half a turn. You know, you say D6 Rogue. I'm getting all flustered here, TJ. Getting all
Give me a break, man. Give me a break. Language Hacker will join Kayla's Luna as the 2 players to move on from Group B. And Language Hacker, the king of Friday. He actually dethroned Monsanto as the king of Friday because Monsanto actually won his group like an idiot. Everybody plays on Friday, maximum camera time. Language Hacker's the new king of Friday.